Hey there and happy Wednesday. Almost like lost my iPad there. I'm like, oh, it's just right on my desk waiting for me. Okay, so now I feel ready. So I am wrapping up Lois Anderson's virtual stamp party with card number 3 for her series this week. And so here's card number 3. I don't know, sometimes with the lighting, the embossing doesn't show up, but of course I'm gonna flip it around and you'll see the greeting says Merry Christmas. So, oh good, Lisa's on here. So Lisa, I am using up pieces of paper. So I've often thought about doing a month-long series of how to use up pieces of paper, the common sizes of little pieces. We all call them scraps, but when they're like at least 4 inches big, those aren't always like really scraps. They're really usable pieces. So today I went, why wait and plan out a whole month? Why not use it and show you so it doesn't look like I'm scrambling to come up with these ideas when really I'm using them because they're so usable. Hi there, Jill. So this is card number 3 for Lois's virtual party, and that will wrap it up, even though her party will carry on into the beginning of December, which isn't that far away either. So I'm just going to see here if I am live here. Yes, I am. So I can put down my iPad and also then flip my camera around so you can see what I'm working on. So hi there, Missy. Nice to have you on here. And there we've got Lois. Like I said, this is her last demo of her cards. So I just have to show you this. So when I went to New Orleans, oh, it's Jill and Kay. I love it when sisters are together watching. That like totally warms my heart because I got to see my sister today at lunchtime too. Yay. All right. So when I went down to New Orleans, I made up like about 30, 40, 50 different cards, say, and those were my swaps. So sometimes when I do swaps, I do all of one kind, or this time I had 3 different kinds and people could choose, or sometimes they had multiples and then we would swap 2 at a time or whatever too. So this was one of the cards that I received from Jacqueline Gauthier. I think that's how you say her last name. It's French. She's from Canada, very successful. And I loved how she had these strips from the Lights Aglow paper, and it just was so pretty. And I'm like, how can I make something like that? So this is my version today. So if you often wonder like, hey, where do you get your ideas from? Well, this turned into this. So so I like to kind of see sometimes when it's harder to show you when I see it on Pinterest versus like right in person there. So that's how that came to be. I loved the gold and the evening evergreen together, and it was just so pretty looking. So I thought, oh, I have all these strips and I want to show you how I use them in a fun way that doesn't look like I'm just putting on strips on a card. Hi there, Linda. So before I get too far into it, I want to show you the supplies that I'm using. So this Hope and Peace stamp set, I just love it. I know I've talked about it. I love the font on here. Probably bought it more for the font and then fell in love with the sentiments, because then when I looked further, you know, I went, oh, those are really nice sentiments. And so that is from the mini catalog on page 40. And so I do know that this is going to be carrying over into next year's holiday catalog too. Hi there, Donna. So if you're kind of like on the fence, or you might go, oh, it is carrying over, I'll get it now so I don't forget to get it next year, or that way it doesn't sell out next year or something too. So anyway, that's your warning that it will be carrying forward. And then another piece of designer series paper packet that will be retiring is the metallic shimmer, and this has evening evergreen. And I'm just throwing this out there because a lot of times you guys like to hear some alternatives. So this could easily be cut up and put into that. Or another thing, since I'm using up strips, maybe you have this packet and have strips and go, oh, I can do that with that. So I like to throw in coordinating products always, just because sometimes that's what you already have. And you know me, I'm not like pushy on ordering. So that kind of helps too. And then the distressed gold is what I'm using today for that leaf. I love this just because of the type of texture it gives. This is sold out until January 9th, but couple pluses. It's in the annual catalog, so we'll be back. And January means celebration. So yeah, it doesn't help with your holiday needs now, but just know that it's not going to be gone forever. Let's see. I think the other things I'll talk about as I use them, so that I don't get too carried away. All right, so Let me grab a card here quick. Sorry, I didn't have that right for you. Okay, so last week when I was doing my series separate from Lois's of my cards that I will be continuing through the rest of the month, I used the Lights Aglow, and it's 6x6 paper. And so when I cut that down, I'll show you here. Like say I have the 6x6, usually what I do then is cut first the five, I want to make card fronts, put it that way. I want to make card fronts that are 5 1/4 by 4 inches. So when I cut these down, the first thing I do is I cut a strip across the top that's going to be 3/4 inches off. So I go from 6x6 now down to 5 1/4, and then I'm cutting off this strip after that, which is a nice 2-inch section to give me the 4 inches here. So now this is my card base, or card, that I add to the card front. So what I have left then after making the 4 by 5 1/4 card fronts, which a lot of us do, are a lot of these pieces here that are 3/4 inch strips and 2-inch strips. So this is 2 by 5 1/4, and this is 6 by 3/4. And so what I'm doing when you see this, I'm going to move my camera. Hopefully that doesn't get you too ooey-gooey in your eyes. So when you see these strips, I have all these strips from the same packet because this is all from Lights Aglow. So hopefully that's all making sense. And then hopefully you can also think outside the box and go, okay, even if it's not 6x6, a lot of times we have those 12 by 12 packages, and then we have, the leftover pieces from that. And then I just completed a project that had a little bit of that distressed gold, and I'm like, ooh, how pretty is this, pulling that in with some of that paper too. So I thought this could make a fun birthday card or something too, because it looks not just Christmassy, but just kind of celebratory in a fun way there. So that's kind of my intro of why I'm putting this card together. So hopefully that will help you to think outside the box. And like I said, I'm always trying to think of ways that you can use your supplies. So let's pull in my card base here, which is going to be Evening Evergreen. I've been doing a lot of this, just this color, because it's the holiday season and it is just so pretty, you guys. I just love it. So I'm just going to give that a good crease. And so then I kind of go over to my pile here and go, okay, let's pull in some things that coordinate. And like I said, this piece is already ready to go because it is 5 1/4 by 2 inches. But then I have these long strips here that just have these little pieces, and you could like pick and choose, like if you'd rather have like say a pattern versus the shimmery shiny or whatever, you can do that. So then I just bring over my trimmer and I'll trim this so that it is at 5 1/4 here. Trim that down. I kind of want to show you that piece. And then I'm going to go 5 1/4, and I'm going to trim that off as well. So when it's all said and done, from one piece of 6x6, so let me show you this, one piece of 6x6, different pattern obviously, I have, yeah, thanks Joan, it's kind of fun. Hi Fran. So we've done, like I said, this card using 4 by 5 1/4, so that's one out of one sheet, and then I've got this and that. All that my scraps are left after a 6x6 are going to be these two tiny pieces. I don't mind throwing that in the trash. Like, it's a good feeling to just throw something away and not save it all, but I would have a tougher time with these strips and such. So I want to show you how you can, maximize your paper by making cards like that. So there we go. So that's how I kind of start. But now let's just make the card, okay? All right. So I'm going to just take and put some adhesive here behind this and just tack that down like so. And I'm just eyeing it to put that in the center there. Hi, Connie. And then I'm going to take and put some adhesive behind this one. And that's just going to go off to the side here. I'm just kind of centering it then in the space that's left between the crease and this pretty paper. And then I'm just going to tip this one over and do that same thing. And we see a little bit of that shimmer and shine there. I'm just kind of centering what's left in that space between the outside edge and that. Oh, Lisa's making sure, is telling me I should use up those tiny pieces of scraps. I'm going to send those in an envelope in the mail and see what you come up with. Actually, you probably could save them all up and have little squares of, and make a background with it. That would be really cool though, Lisa. So now after my video, I'm probably going to go through my trash and dig those 2 tiny little squares out. Hi, Fern. Hi, Kier. All right. So next I'm going to get out my, let's see, I'm trying to always think what's the best step. I'm going to get out my mini cut and emboss machine here. And with that, I'm going to emboss a piece from the Wintry 3D embossing folders. This is a 2-pack, and maybe the biggest struggle of the card was going, should I make this like greenery, which I know my hostess Lois really does, but I think this is so pretty too with the snowflakes and swirls on it. So the greenery won out because Lois likes greenery. So I'm just going to put this, I cut this, I think like about 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. The measurements aren't going to make that much of a difference here. And to put it through my mini machine, I use plate 1, then the embossing folder, and then plate number 4 is for 3D folders. I'm just gonna put that through here, the mini machine. Hello, Carol. I missed you at the retreat last week and just wanted you to know you were missed. All right, so with this being a 3D folder, you can see how gorgeous that is with the pop that that design gives it. So I'm going to set that aside. And then next, I am going to, like I said, I just had so much fun doing all this. I'm like, when it came time to do the video, I'm like, okay, what steps do I do first or not? All right, next, I think I'm going to do my stamping and embossing. And when it comes to Christmas time, I'm all about the embossing. So I'm going to get out my Versamark pad and my Merry Christmas sentiment from the Hope and Peace. And I'm just going to center that in the center there, and you can't see it because it's kind of invisible ink. And I'm going to get out some gold embossing powder here. And this just looks so pretty with the evening evergreen. It just looks so rich and elegant. So let me get my heat gun here, get that going. And I'll just hold that up. And I'm not sure if you can see it when it actually turns, but for those that are new to embossing, like this was one of the first ooh-ah moments that I had when I first started stamping, was seeing kind of this like just kind of copperish looking powder, almost brown looking powder, just heat up and turn gold. And I went, oh my goodness, like I can seriously do that? That just blew my mind that I could make something look so pretty like that. So one of my first gifts when I started stamping, my husband, I was at a party, and the hostess called my husband while I was still at the party saying, you need to get your wife a heat gun for Christmas. That was a really cool Christmas present. Let's just say that. Okay, so the next round of dies that I'm going to pull out here are the Stylish Shapes dies. So these sold out for a bit because of that sale when they were just on sale last week. And so then I know that a lot of people like these because a lot of people bought them. So we've got some squares, circles, and then these banners. So I'm just taking one of the medium-sized banners, and next I'm going to put this Merry Christmas through like so. And it seems like it's kind of small, but you always have to remember that the frame kind of hides some of your image. And then as you wind it through like so, then you'll see that it all fits. And then not only does it do the banner, it does that nice kind of stitched edge too, which looks really classy. And if you're like Lisa, you could save this. Oh yeah, Kirsten, my friend, says, I remember the embossing in St. Louis. Yeah, I think that was like, I did a lot of that because back, you know, that was like 25 years ago when we were stamping in St. Louis together, and Stampin' Up! Didn't have near the things that they do now. So that was probably like my ooh-ah moment for quite a long time. All right, so now this is, to me, non-Christmassy, but I've used it a lot with the winter season just for flourishes. It's called the Forever Flourishing dies, and you might go, Forever Flourishing. Oh, those are the ones that coordinate with the Forever Fern. And so I'm just using this just for a nice backdrop of greenery. They have other images too that could be used stamped and then cut out or just cut out. So that's where I'm pulling that from. And this is also from the annual catalog. And then I'm just going to run one quick cut of this on that distressed gold paper. I'm just going to put that up in the corner and pop that through here. And that's going to be kind of our little backdrop as well as the pretty paper. And then I should be able to just kind of do some assembly here. So we've got this, and because it's a thinner paper, sometimes you just kind of have to give it a couple pokes to be able to pull that out, but it comes out really nice and easy, which is great. Okay, so we've got that. Oh, and then I need to, the reason I did like this 3 1/4 by 5 1/4, even though you look at my card and go, okay, here's that. If you're like me, sometimes you just don't make just one card at a time. So I thought, well, all that I need to do after running a chunk through is just take my trimmer here and let me just measure. Oh, I don't know where my ruler went. Okay, I think it was, yeah, 1.5 inches. I was just going to check here. So I've got 1.5 inches that I'm just going to cut off of that chunk. And now I can do that a couple more times. So if I'm running one chunk through, why not just run a bigger chunk through, and then I can do 3 cards at once. And I bet you're all going, oh yeah, I need to do more of that just to be saving time. So that's just going to be like a little bit of a background to our sentiment. Oh, thanks, Rosina. Yes, I wanted to incorporate this, and I didn't want too big of a chunk because that paper is so pretty. So I was trying to find a way to do that. And then the other thing that I wanted to incorporate from the annual catalog is this pretty shimmer gold ribbon, and it just kind of matches this distressed gold paper so well too. So I just kind of lay that on top like so, and then take my scissor and just cut it. And then what I'm going to do is take my glue dots here and just press a glue dot into each end, with the goal being that the glue dot sticks to the ribbon on each end like so. Okay, and then I'm just going to wrap that around here across the middle. I want to make sure that I don't have it too tight where it's going to buckle my little piece here. So this is 3 1/4 then by 1.5 inches, in case you didn't see the beginning of with what I started. Hey there, Chris. So now this is going to be the backdrop of this, and it just really makes that gold embossing powder, really pop with that together. So let me put some dimensionals on top of on the back side of my Merry Christmas to pop up, and then that'll be ready to go on top of this like so. And how pretty and rich is this? Like, just so pretty. Like if you had packages or something, like it'd be just fun to put this as your packaging little gift tag or something too. Hi there, Carla. And then next I'm going to put more dimensionals. We're going to kind of do a double pop up here. So I'm going to put dimensionals in all 4 of the corners. And before I put this on my card, I'm going to secure this. And so this, even though it's kind of dainty looking, it has lots of nice areas to sneak a glue dot behind the leaves. And if it looks like it's showing just a little bit, well, then I just kind of curl it up underneath there like so, and then it should be set. I'm going to just do kind of one more like that. And then I can just put this kind of at an angle like so, press it down so that those glue dots will stick there. And now this is ready to go on top. So no one would ever know, like, hey, oh, hey, Zach, I didn't know that you were in the background too. You must be home for Thanksgiving. That's awesome. No one would ever know, like, when they see this card that you're actually trying to use up these paper pieces from your 6x6 paper. I just think it looks intentional, and it looks, very well coordinated. And so, like I said, you could take all of your papers and get them out and go, okay, I've got chunks this size. Let's make up a whole bunch of of card fronts for different occasions. But I love the gold and the evergreen, bringing in some soft succulent for Christmas. And of course I need to embellish, so I'm going to get out those festive pearls, which come in 4 different colors: the silver, the gold, and the pool party in red. And I'm going to go with the gold here, and with my take your pick tool, I'm just going to kind of plop kind of one here, and then a couple more like here and here, to kind of just put in a triangle, just to add a little bit of something into this space that's just kind of sitting there like so. So that's going to just finish the front of the card. But I just love all the textures between the distress paper here and all of the embossed images on here, plus that embossing folder with the pine really makes it look special. And then for the inside, that's going to be quick and easy. And I'm going to bring in the soft succulent, which coordinates beautifully with evening evergreen, but just a lighter green. And for that, I'm going to stamp out tidings of comfort and joy. Like I said, I love this font. They're very easy to read and looks festive. And that's all I'm going to do for my inside. I'm just going to leave that. I don't want to get it too busy with as many things as I have going on in the front of the card, like so. So there we have it, a fun Christmas card. Yes, Chris, thanks. I thought it looked really elegant too. And like I said, you could think of different background pieces that you want to use, different embossing folders, different kind of like embellishments. You could, do like a party hat if you wanted it to be for birthday or something like that too. So I like hearing how people think outside of the box, and I like doing videos like this to kind of stretch people to think outside of the box too. Thanks, Deb. You'll be getting one of these, so I'm glad that you like the card too. All right, so that is, let me flip my camera around. That is card number 3 already for Lois's virtual stamp party. So all of a sudden the demos are over. Even though her party is not coming to a close for a couple more weeks, if you want help ordering through her party using her host code, let me know. I've posted the code here in my video, and then I'll also do a still shot here in a few minutes with the card and her host code, so that you have that to order online. And how you can get the 3 cards that I've made so far this week for her party is just place a minimum $25 order using this code, and I'll make up the cards and send them in the mail to pop them in the mail to you as a thank you for ordering. And then Friday, I know it's going to be busy here, but I would like to do another video and then just kind of carry on to finish my series of 8 for the month of the cards that I just was planning on making for you guys, to give you some ideas for couple more for Christmas, and then a couple more for all occasion too. So a few more cards that I need to demo to finish the month of November, because that's already next week, you guys. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, enjoy your turkey, have a happy Thanksgiving, and all of that good stuff. Enjoy family time. So see you Friday. Bye-bye.